Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program. I'm Richard Randall, sitting in. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold, Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, with the real estate market cooling off, many home sellers don't want to wait months to sell their homes or worry about their contracts failing for various reasons. So, how does someone go about getting a cash offer on their home?
Well, Richard, we show up with at least a half dozen offers on anybody's home if they invite us into their home to discuss the sale. Right now, more than half of the home sellers are having to reduce their prices. The rates have gone down about a 0.5% in the past couple of weeks, which is good, but there's still probably a third of the first-time home buyers that really can't afford these payments. Our prices haven't corrected that much. And there's nationwide a huge cancellation rate. When I looked at interest rates this morning, they were sitting at about 6.5% conventional and like 6.1 for the government loans, FHA and VA. So here's what you can do with that. I think if the rates drop down even another 0.5%, they start having a 5 in front of them, we're going to have all these buyers that have been sitting on the sidelines come out and force. That's kind of why the builders are doing so well. They are offering buy down on interest rates, pay your closing cost, give you fries with that too. And they're getting buyers to write contracts on their houses. The problem is, if a home seller has a house to sell, how are they going to make that transition to that new house, either locally or in another area, especially if their home is not selling? Sometimes the buyer's financing failed. I had one buyer recently where the agent didn't tell the whole truth about why this buyer bailed out before closing, but it turned out that he didn't get the raise he was expecting. And it really hurts the seller. If you think about it, we have to tell the world that the home is under contract. So all by itself, just doing that creates demand destruction for other buyers. If we're telling the world it's under contract, that repels buyers from coming to look at your home. Now, I don't market that way. I keep marketing until the end because you never know if somebody's going to bail out. And then you've got agents that don't have selling skills, talking buyers out of homes, like saying it's not worth that much, or saying something like, well, I don't know if it's worth that much, or that home won't qualify for the financing that you're asking for, without really asking the question to find out if we have solutions. They also don't have very good selling skills. Like, they've got a buyer that's coming back and asking questions over and over again. Well, come on, let's sit down and let's discuss it. Let's make something happen if they're that interested. And then when they do get a contract, there's still that uncertainty that the buyer could walk away. There's also, for the sellers, the uncertainty of very expensive repairs, especially if they haven't prepared for it. Like, I took over a listing in the winter where they had it under contract. And the buyer walked away because the buyer was somehow told to expect that they should get a brand new deck worth $45,000. I don't know what made them think that, but it blew up the deal. They fired that agent. They hired me. And then we went on to sell it for full price. And we didn't really do anything with the deck at all. I had another home seller that really didn't plan ahead for septic. So this is one of those systems that if it fails for whatever reason, it could be very expensive to repair. That's why I always tell sellers, get ahead of that system, because in most of the counties along the Front Range, they're going to require the septic system be inspected prior to closing. And what if they need to do a major repair on the septic? Most people don't even pay attention to it if it doesn't back up, but it could fail without backing up. And that can be very expensive. I had one out in Peyton that failed. I suggested a vendor that I trusted. The first appointment didn't hook up. I guess he didn't think they did that work. So he went on to get a bid for $51,000 to replace the septic system. Now the sales price was only about 400. It's like, really? 51,000 for septic? I said, did you call this guy? Oh, I didn't think he did that. So he called him, and I ended up saving him about $13,000 on that work that had to be done. The problem is it takes a lot of time. When you're doing a septic system, if it does require a leach field change or something major like that, first they have to do a soils test. Then they have to get the soils test back. Then they have to design the system. Then they have to pull the permit. Those processes could take, in this county anyway, as much as 3 months. So always get ahead of that if you're thinking of making a move. And then there could be financing that fails. What about the appraisal? Okay. I just talked to an appraiser that told me that he does lots of appraisals and they have some coming in low. Now, they hate to be the bad guy, but they have to follow the rules. The values have to match similar sales. Otherwise, they can't substantiate the value. And some agents really don't know. They're just wishing that it will appraise, right? It takes some hard forensic research to make sure of that. So we help the appraisers as much as we can. We're not allowed to really influence them, but let's say the appraisal comes in low, especially if they're getting an FHA or a VA loan. There's a lot of criteria in which the house has to meet the loan guidelines, meaning there could be no peeling paint, even on the outbuildings like a shed or something, no missing outlet covers, no broken windows, no safety issues, trip hazards, no uncovered window wells where kids and dogs could fall in. No, I've had them ask for fencing falling down. I've had them ask for a lot of interesting things. It doesn't say in the contract who does that repair. It just says the buyer has to report it. But the assumption is the seller does the repair. So I always tell sellers, get ahead of those just in case you're going to get a buyer that's getting an FHA or a VA loan. Because if you don't and it happens, then you have to scramble towards the end of the process to get that repair done for the buyer to get their loan. So you want to be prepared for success by far. But those are just another one of those things that can cause uncertainty in the process. So we can provide uncertainty. I just sold a home last week that sold for cash, full price, no repairs, and they were able to move to their next home and it closed on time. That's critical for some home sellers. If you have to sell a home in order to buy your next home, the biggest dilemma for most sellers is, if I need my equity out of this home to buy my next home, how am I going to do that? Right? Sometimes they don't qualify for payments on both houses. We actually have lender partners that can help you do that. They will actually go and pay cash for your next home. That way you can have your next home lined up, sell your existing home, then walk into the financing on the new home with them, which is really, really cool. Most home sellers won't accept a contingent offer, or they'll keep the door open for other buyers to walk in the door. Another problem is appraisals. Is if the house does not appraise, the deal could blow up late in the process after you've already broken down the house isn't show pretty anymore, and nobody wants a deal to fall apart later in the game. So we can help you do that. That's part of what we do for our home sellers. We have tons of solutions, lots of cash buyers. We have a couple of different a couple of different investors that can actually come in and make that transition happen from one house to the next without having to qualify for both homes. And all you need is a little bit of equity. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show. Richard?
To your real estate voice, that's Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You can reach her at 719-301-3900. And we're talking, Barb, about what makes a cash offer better on a house for some sellers.
Well, a lot of people assume that cash offers are lowball offers, but not always true. Most of the offers that I present are full market value. It could be a multi-step process, but they're going to end up with full market value with their home. And the benefits are you have that certainty that you know you're going to get to the finish line. I just helped a couple recently that were able to sell their home as is, move when they wanted, and they were just happy as clams. And we can also guarantee the sale. We offer that we're going to guarantee to bring you at least a half dozen cash offers on your home, or we'll pay you 100% of market value. No, let me say that again. We guarantee your home will sell for 100% of market value, or we'll pay you the difference. So if you want to find out more about that, that way you get the highest price and a guaranteed offer, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Team are the only company that I'd recommend to people out there who are thinking of selling their homes to reach Barb. Give her a call, 719-301-3900. Barb, favorite time of the show? It's time for your hot new listings. What do you have this week?
I have a beautiful home in Briargate on Camfield Circle, priced at $439,999. Gorgeous 3-bedroom, gleaming hardwood floors, granite counters, backs to open space, in great condition. A really great investment property up in Cripple Creek on Carr Avenue at 292. A fabulous home on almost an acre in Woodland Park on Highway 24, priced at $299. A great home that's owned by the VA would be a fabulous investment property. Actually has 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, and a 2-car, 342.5. Fabulous home down in Pueblo on 13th Avenue. This home has a pool. We don't have too many homes with a pool, and a mother-in-law suite, priced at $369 with quartz counters. Is just gorgeous. 2 homes in Rush. One of them is on 375 North Rush Road, over 2 acres, priced at $374,999. Lots of outbuilding and extra garage space. Also 355 Rush Road. That one's on 9 acres, backs to open space. Big, beautiful home. Lots of outbuildings and extra garages at $464,999. We also have a fabulous home in Old Colorado City, 610 North Tower Road, priced at $499. This home, actually, the basement was rented out Airbnb, and they were able to command $15,000 a year renting just the basement out. Really, really nice property. Beautiful home down on Royal Troon Road in Pueblo, priced at $565. Gorgeous ranch with a finished basement in superb condition. An amazing patio home in Pine Creek on Spanish Oak Terrace, priced in the low 70s at backs to the golf course. Beautiful 4-bedroom home. Another one in Briargate at $454,900. Amazing home on Big Valley Drive over in Rock Rimmon, priced at $699. Has a detached 3rd-car garage, ultimate man cave. Amazing home on Broadmoor Bluffs Drive at $684,999, backs to NORAD. A spectacular custom Adobe style home on Wild Road on 123 Wild Rose Drive in Canyon City, priced at $1.25 million with RV parking. Really, really beautiful custom home that you have to take a look at. And another amazing custom home, 16145 Open Sky Way on 4 acres in gated High Forest Ranch, priced at $1,295,000, over 7,000 square feet of beauty. Another great home on Hidden Valley, great lot on Hidden Valley Drive. Plus, I have more hitting on the market this weekend. One of them on Mead and one of them on Capitol Peak Way, a big rancher priced at $574,999. Coming on the market this week. So to find out about all of our properties, go to barbhasthebuyers.com or give us a call at 719-301-3900. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. It airs every Saturday. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Remember, you can see replays of the show on YouTube on Barb's channel, or listen to the podcast on all of the popular podcast platforms, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, many, many others. Thank you for listening. And again, to reach out to Barb, 719-301-3900. Thank you for listening. Barb, have a great week. We'll talk to you next weekend.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.